own estate. Know if my pops will hear say well done like I like my steak. So guarantee I'm.
Welcome back to another episode of the Off-Season Podcast. I'm your host, Trey Hall. I have my other host here, FAOVA. Week 2 of the IHSA football season is now in the books. We got a lot to discuss. And season is in full swing at this point. I know a lot of teams start conference play next week, and we'll get into all of that. FA, how you feeling, man?
Feel good, man. Another great week. Some great matchups. You know what I mean? Some good performances. So, hey, it's always great when we got something to come in here and talk about. So, and we definitely got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot to talk about. After week 1, there was some teams like Glenbard West that we wanted to see that we made sure that we saw this week against Joliet Catholic, and then we also got out to the Brother Rice versus Marist game, Battle of Pulaski. One game was a good game, the other one was more of a massacre than a battle. But
yeah, for sure.
But like you said, it's a lot to talk about. St. Rita versus Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel destroyed St. Rita, and then we also got Sandburg Richards and a few other games outside of that as well. But the first game I want to start off with, man, is the Glenbard West Joliet Catholic game. I think that was probably the best game that we saw of the weekend. It was definitely a back and forth matchup. I know Glenbard West beat Batavia last week, and that's one of the reasons why we definitely wanted to get out to one of their games, because we seen them play last year, Batavia and Glenbard West, and it was a lopsided game, favorite Batavia. But this year, Batavia lost to 31-28 off a field goal kick. So, but Glenbard West is
they're legit. They're the real deal.
I liked everything I saw. Overall, I liked everything I saw. They were playing without their starting quarterback, but even with their backup in Lucas Simulik, played pretty well as well. He had 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, and did his thing. I mean, like that's all you really ask for when your backup comes in, is that he can really much hold down the fort, and the team doesn't lose a step. And I don't think they lost a step without their starting quarterback.
For sure. Yeah, and this is a great thing to see, them coming off of a 4-5 season, not making the playoffs last year, to now, turning it around, going 2-0 against two, really good teams. They beat Batavia, who played in the state championship against Mount Carmel last year, and then you beat JC, who also played in the state championship. You know what I'm saying? So it's two great teams that you could win against. So, I mean, they're in 7A, and, I mean, they're looking like one of the top teams in 7A. They still got some big matchups coming up, but, yeah, I think that they can make a run. It looks like a good team. It looks like a completely different team from last year. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds for them. But definitely the real deal. Glad we got to get out and see them.
Yeah, definitely the real deal. I saw a couple big plays. The 60-yard kickoff return by Jalen McMillan. That was crazy, because it was it was so. Remember, how when we go to the games, I always say, like, you cannot miss a play because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. And one thing I learned last year is, like, you want to make sure you got your camera on for a kickoff, because a kickoff return can easily be taken any other way at any time. Man, it was funny when I was there. JCA just scored, and they kicked the field goal and everything. I'm like, I'm not going to get the field goal. I'm going to just go back to the other end. And I just turned the camera on at, like, the last second before they kicked it. And I'm like, wow, what if he break this one free? And he ended up breaking it free. But
and it was crazy, too. That spin move and in traffic, I'm like, whoa.
Bro, at the time of the game, because I think Joliet Catholic went up 14-7 at that time. And then they came back and tied it 14-14. I think it ended up being 14-14 at the half. And, man, it's the game. The game, it was JCA tried to run a lot at the beginning, and they wasn't really successful on their run attempts. So they had to start passing a lot more. Glenbard West, on the other hand, they was having their way with run. I mean, I don't know if you would say they're having their way with running, or they was just throwing screen passes to get into the open field, and they was able to really have their way on the offensive end. But JCA had to start throwing more, and with them throwing more, it was pretty, like, that first, was it the first touchdown pass to one of the kids? I think so. Yeah, I think it was the first touchdown pass to Jaden Armstrong in the highlight, and that's
that was a crazy catch.
Yeah, success.
Yep, and that's not really JC's identity. You know what I mean?
No,
Throwing the ball like that. Yeah, no, definitely not. You know, so yeah, sometimes you just have to adapt based on personnel and in the skill set of your team. So yeah, I mean, I still think JC is tough. Like, you know what I mean? This doesn't mean count JC out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can still contend in 6A, even though they're 0-2. You play two tough teams and hit the drawing board. You know what I mean? Naz had a rough start last year, and they were able to, you know, still make it and win it. So I mean, that's what these two games are for. We keep talking about that. It's to see who you are. You know what I mean? And make you battle tested. That's all it is. So is it just because you lost both of the games doesn't mean the season is over with and count you out, because it's a long season to go. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm interested to see JC. But one thing I want to talk about from Glenbard, I know we always talk about this. I was watching the game, and bro, that backdrop I think Glenbard West has the best football environment in the state of Illinois. I'm not gonna lie, bro. And then they, like, you know, you got to walk down the hill. I saw a video like a whole bunch of people. Yeah, like, but I saw so many people walking down the hill like fans, and it's just a different vibe, bro. Like, I love seeing Joliet West play and going to the field, because I really think they got one of the best field environments in the state of Illinois for sure. And they still got grass too. One of the few schools will still have a grass field, but I don't think they should get rid of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think they should. It's too perfect.
Yeah, I don't think they will, and it's very, like, the field is very taken care of. Very well
it is. Yeah,
but,
so
the hilltop. That's a funny thing. We was actually talking about that before last episode. I was like, are they the hilltoppers or the hitters? And then we found out that they're actually the hitters for football, but they are the hilltoppers is their school mascot, because they're on top of a hill.
But somebody explained that in our comments. Somebody hit us up like, why? What's the separation from football and all other sports? Like, why are they the hitters? But that's cool though. Like, that's cool.
The Hilltoppers.
Yeah, for sure.
Is also the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, but, that's crazy.
Going back to JCA had a chance to really win that game at the end as well, because they had the last. I think the game was actually 27-21, because Glenbard West missed the extra point. And JCA could have came back down, tied the game at least, and then could have potentially won the game if they had connected to the kid Jaden Armstrong at the end of the game. But it was a good game overall. It was back and forth. Even there was one time Glenbard West had a recovery, a kickoff recovery, onside kick, right after they missed the field goal, and they got the ball right back. So it was definitely a good game, but JCA still could have went down and won it. But definitely impressed with what we saw from Glenbard West last year. They starting off 2-0 this year. I believe I was told they had 4 transfers that came in.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's probably why, like, they squad probably has improved over last season for sure.
Yeah,
but it's something we talked about too, though. It seems like it's a lot more competition out there this year.
Yeah,
or maybe a lot of it left, to the point where it's like now it's like more of a
balance,
more of a balance, because I mean, we saw a lot of good teams over the last 2 weeks, and definitely been impressed by teams that we didn't expect to essentially start off well because of how they finished last season.
Exactly.
So Kenwood was one of the teams we talked about last week. I was surprised just because of their record last year and how they played last year, but you know, team that surprised us last week, Glenbard West, is another team that really showed that they can really, really play some football. Another team that I was telling you about, game that we went to that surprised me, team that I feel like, I'm going to say it right now, and it's way too early to say. I know it's way too early to say, but this is my favorite team to win 7A. And I really, really, really mean this when I say this. The Brother Rice Crusaders.
Yeah.
The Brother Rice Crusaders, the game that I just saw them play against Marist, I wouldn't say it was a flawless game, but it was damn near perfect.
Yeah, and it's one
damn near perfect, and mainly on the defensive end. I'm only
going to
talk about the offensive end.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That defensive line is scary. Scary, bro.
Yeah.
It was like they just tortured St. Rita's offense. Literally, tortured them.
Yeah. Couldn't get nothing going. So led by King Liggins, obviously the Illinois commit, Braden Parks, the 4-star, and the young boy Cameron McGee. Cameron McGee, like 5-star sophomore. So yeah, that was one thing that stood out to me the most, was just the dominance of the defensive line, like setting that tone. And Marist couldn't get anything going. Like it was just they were too disruptive. You know what I mean? And then they put their offense in a great position, forcing turnovers and putting them in a good field position. And then the offense did what they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like CJ Gray, Army commit, 2 passing TDs, 1 rushing TD, 183 total yards. And I know that's something that you spoke about, was like his development, because you actually went to the Fenwick game last year and saw him play in person, and you said it's like night and day as far as like the athlete he is now and what you saw this week versus what you saw last year. So
yeah, let me speak to that a little bit. So I will say this disclaimer: I've only seen him play in 2 games. Like as far as like really watched it and dissected the film, right? First game was, as you mentioned, last year, state playoffs against Fenwick. In that game, it wasn't really much, I will say, in the best way possible, the best decision making being made. All right, against a good Fenwick team, obviously, but then now they're playing Marist, and watching him play, and mind you, his number changed. So his number was 4 last year, his number is 2 this year. So I'm going into the game not even really like thinking like, oh, this is the same kid from last year, just a different number. I'm more so thinking like maybe they got a different quarterback, because I didn't really do much research on it before going to the game of like who's the starting quarterback or whatever. But watching him play, it started to realize with me after he took his helmet off, I'm like, oh, this is the same kid from last year, and he's torching them. Right. And the one thing that I want to commend that I feel like gotten better from just watching that game against Fenwick to the game against Marist, his decision making, bro. Like knowing when to throw the ball in the right space, as you see the touchdown passes in our full game highlights, but then also knowing when to take off. Yeah. And also knowing when to just accept a sack or not go do something crazy with the ball. I think the game against Fenwick, I know he took a safety to end the game, but it was just a couple times where he was just like pressure was coming, and I feel like he was just trying to get rid of the ball or not knowing when to take off or whatever. Like, and that's why I go back to saying the decision making. But seeing him this game, like it was like night and day, bro. Yeah. And that's a testament to the work that he put in the offseason. You can clearly tell that there was work put in by this kid in the offseason. But at the same time, he had some great targets to throw to as well. So it was definitely a great game to see. But going back to the defense, man, that defense, boy. If we're gonna have the conversation of if defense wins championships,
that's a good That's
a good example. That would be a good example that I would bring to the table if we're having the discussion for real. Absolutely. That is a great, bro. They gave their offense so many opportunities to go back onto the field. If you watch the full game highlight, we cut out a lot of St. Rita's offensive side because they weren't doing anything. Yeah, it wasn't. It was nothing. It was so uneventful.
Yeah, Marist had only 97 passing yards. You know what I mean? So
it's like, that's an testament to Brother Rice's defense. Their defense was literally like just disrupting everything.
Definitely.
From the defensive line, even to when you get to the DBs, there was a couple big plays made by the DBs in that game. It was just a complete. That's why I call it a massacre. It was a complete obliteration. If he was there, you will see why we would call it that. It wasn't really a battle. So
yeah. No, definitely, for sure. That defense definitely stepped up and put Brother Rice in a great position. And yeah, I mean, you said they're the front runner for you in 7A. I know some teams out there and we'll see matchups, and we'll see BR and Rita. You know, we'll see that soon. But
let me qualify that statement, because I don't want to just up and say that and not give more reason to that. Because I talked about Brother Rice as a team. Yeah. But also, we've seen DGN play. They're currently sitting at number 1 in the Associated Press's 7A class rankings. Yeah. All right. Brother Rice is sitting at number 2. Right. And then another team that we saw in 7A was Richards. Richards just got annihilated by Sandburg. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's other teams that I'm not thinking of right now.
Rita.
In there, but St. Rita played Marist last week and won at like towards the end of the game. It went down to the wire. Yeah. It was a completely different story from Brother Rice's game versus Marist versus St. Rita's game versus Marist. You know what I mean? So it's like we've seen it play out a little bit already as far as like the teams that are ranked in the top 10 for Class 7A. And Brother Rice, I'm sorry that as far as the top 10 teams that we've seen in 7A, they look like one of the greatest to me, if not the greatest.
I got a question. Put you onto some fire a little bit. Do you think BR pulls off another upset on Mount Carmel this year? Do you think they have the capability, based off of what you've seen? Do you think that on their best day, just on their best, let's say BR plays their best game that they could possibly play, can they knock off Mount Carmel like they did last year? Because obviously Jack Elliott got hurt last year, so that was a big part in that win happening. But do you think this BR team could shock MC this year?
This is what I will say. Their defense is that good that I would like to see their defense match up against Mount Carmel's offense. Now, there's a big reason why I say I think Brother Rice is the favorite to win in 7A. It's simply because Mount Carmel isn't in 7A.
For sure.
Now, if Mount Carmel was in 7A, I probably wouldn't be saying Brother Rice is the favorite to win 7A, because Mount Carmel's there. It's like, they're gonna have to see them boys, the Crusaders, not the Crusaders, the Caravan. Yeah. But I do think their defense could potentially match up pretty well. As far as teams in the Capital League, their defense could probably match up pretty well against that offense. I would like to see that for sure.
Yeah, so that's probably the one team that I think MC is going to play this year that has a shot at doing it.
I think that will be the one team that can challenge them. Now, I think theory is everything, right? You will never really know until they actually play on the field. But I think so, bro. Like, I'm telling you, what I saw Brother Rice do, like their defensive line do to Marist's offense. I wouldn't even just say Marist's O-line, their whole offense. Yeah. They were on that field. I don't want to say it like, because we're talking about kids, but they was on that field kind of looking scared, bro. Yeah. Like, and it was just because how physical and how good their defense was playing.
Yeah, it was overwhelming. Yeah, it was just overwhelming. But and the thing is, BR has some weapons as well. I wish we had their names. But number 0, the receiver number 0 with the dreads, he was really good. Like and I believe number 81 or 80, I believe, that caught that 81 that caught that big touchdown pass. And we'll get their names too. But he has weapons to throw to. So I mean, the talent is there on both sides of the ball. So yeah, I'm interested to see that happen. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so when they do play Mount Carmel later, that'll be a game that we will be covering for sure, because I want to see that matchup. Their Brother Rice's defense against Mount Carmel's super electric offense. Man. And Brother Rice, I mean, from what we saw from their offensive end, they got it done too. Yeah. So I'd love to see that. That's a matchup. Excuse me. That's a matchup that we'll definitely be eyeing later. Speaking of the Caravan, though, they did play St. Rita. Yes, they did. They annihilated St. Rita 35-14. This is also a very historic rivalry. 8 straight wins from Mount Carmel. Is this also including the state playoffs as well? Because they met in the state playoffs last year as well.
I'm not sure if this is including the playoffs.
Okay. But anyway, I mean, one of the reasons last week when we spoke about St. Rita having a good chance in 7A is because Mount Carmel is not there. And I will say it again, it's probably a good thing for St. Rita that they're in 7A and Mount Carmel's in 8A. But Mount Carmel, like I said, when they have their offense, it's undeniable. Like,
I mean, defensively as well. I mean, it's just an all around thing, and I think it's going to be something that we just continue to see all year, and it's undeniable. Like, the team is probably the most talented team in the state as far as talent goes, everywhere across the field, from the secondary, the linebackers, linemen, quarterback, receivers. It's just, there are weapons everywhere, and it's on display every time that they play. So, and then even something else that I noticed when watching the game is that they also have depth. So a lot of those guys, a lot of those defensive linemen specifically were getting rotated out, and there were sophomores coming in. There were juniors coming in. So it's like, man, bro, you already have like a Braden Jones, Joey Quinn, and you could sub them out for somebody who is just as talented. You know what I mean? So that depth is going to be hard for teams to deal with, because when they bring in their second team, it's still essentially the talent of a first team. So, I mean, it's just going to be hard to defeat the depth. But what I will say is Mount Carmel isn't even playing their best ball. Like, when you watch, they're still making mistakes. They're still making mistakes that you could capitalize on. But I think that's the difference between the good and great teams and what's giving you a chance. Like, if anybody wants to beat Mount Carmel this year, they're going to have to play their best game possible. And they're going to have to take advantage of the mistakes that Mount Carmel make, because they're not perfect. They do make mistakes, but it's just about capitalizing off of the mistakes. You know what I mean? St. Rita forced Mount Carmel to turn the ball over. They did. But it's like, what do you do with that forced turnover? Do you go in and punch in the score and make a statement, or do you 3 and out and then Mount Carmel gets the ball back and go and score on you? You know what I mean? Those are the differences in the game. When they went against Archbishop, that's what it was. When Mount Carmel made the mistakes, they capitalized on the mistakes and they put pressure on them, and it was a high scoring game. So that's just what teams have to do. You can't play around with Mount Carmel. If you're going to beat them, you're going to play the best game that you play, and you're going to take advantage of any opportunity they give you. But Mount Carmel, they make mistakes. And that's the scary thing about the state, is that, look, if Mount Carmel is this great and they aren't playing their best ball, imagine what they're going to look like come playoff time. When they fix all of these issues, that is the scary part, is that they still have room to be better. So, I mean, MC is MC, and I think, like, as far as covering, we really don't need to cover them again until the end, because to be honest, it's just going to be the same conversation. The receiving core that they have, Emmett Dowling, I was telling you off cam, we got to go and check the record book for single season, maybe passing yards or passing touchdowns, because I think he's probably going to be on pace to break something, throwing for 200-300 yards every game, 4 or 5 touchdowns every game, with the receiving core that's throwing the ball a lot. I mean, he's going to have a crazy stat line at the end of the year if it keeps like this trajectory up, like this pace up of the way he's playing. And those receivers, man, it's tough. It's tough, bro. It's going to be tough to beat them. They have too many weapons. I'm not going to lie.
I agree. And talking about quarterback Emmett Dowling, he went for 263 passing yards, 4 passing TDs, and 1 rushing TD. He's every bit of, and that's, I hate to do the comparison game, right? Because he's his own player. He's his own man. But he fits perfectly into that system the same way how they were doing it with Jack Elliott. Not saying that they're the same player, because they're 2 different players, but they're both great performers on the field, especially when they're playing those big teams. St. Rita is a big team in the Catholic League, and Mount Carmel was just performing. That's why I think the team that, and I hate to go back to Brother Rice, but I think the team that will challenge them this year probably is Brother Rice, I think. Yeah. Still tough to tell with Loyola. I'm sure we'll probably be saying a lot more about Loyola as the season progresses, but Brother Rice is that team to challenge Mount Carmel in the Catholic League. They won't have to see them in the playoffs, which is a good thing, but it'll be good for them to match up against essentially the best team in 8A, and they'll be battle tested to, perform in the state playoffs. Brother Rice will be, but Mount Carmel is balling. The Catholic League is always balling. Next week, Mount Carmel has a tough matchup against Nazareth, and St. Rita will be playing Brother Rice. So that will also be in a testament to what I'm saying about Brother Rice being the favorite in 7A. Yeah. Can't wait to see that next week. Those will be Nazareth is start off to a 2-0 start. They just beat not Mount Carmel, Morgan Park pretty badly. Yep. I
believe 33-3 or 33-6 or something like that.
Something like that. We had to check that officially, but them facing off against Mount Carmel would definitely be a test for them. But just a game for them to be battle tested as well, as they will be in 6A this year. Going to the next game between Sandburg and Richards.
Man, Coach Murph effect is real. The Coach Murph effect is real.
Bro. This is, so we already looked this up, but this is the Sandburg's first time going 2-0 since 2018.
Yes.
This is Coach Murphy's first year as head coach. He's starting off with 2 wins.
Yep.
He's also a Sandburg alum. He went to Sandburg for high school. And the thing that we were talking about, because we looked at the schedule of what they're playing up all the way up until the last game of the season against Lincoln Way East. They played Richards. When they started off playing Andrew.
Yep.
They dominated Andrew, right? We like Richards. We followed Richards heavy last year. We're going to be following them heavy this year, right? Richards just put up a high-scoring game, 51 points against Creekmore. So when we came into this game, we were like, we think Richards may blow Sandburg out.
Yep.
Because
being
Richards
honest,
has we thought Richards would blow. I'll even take it a step further. I don't even want to make it sound disrespectful, but we were going to actually cover that game and get the full game highlights. And we were like, it may not be that good of a game. It may be a blowout.
It's a fact.
Richards may blow Sandburg out. I don't think we need to cover it. And if it's any good highlights, we'll just ask somebody to send us something, right? Then we looked at the score. Actually, no. Actually, we got the halftime score.
Yeah.
From Kendrick.
Yep.
Right? We got the halftime score. And he was like, oh, yeah, Sandburg's winning. And we're like, whoa. I think it was like 21-7 or something like that. 28-7,
it was something crazy.
And then the end of the game, it was like, I can't remember the exact score, but it was a lot to a little. And then I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sandburg is for real. And going back to the teams that they played, they could potentially go undefeated all the way up into that Lincoln Way East game, the last game of the season. And they could be battling for a conference championship against Lincoln Way East.
Could they
what
do
are the
it?
odds that happens?
Man.
What are the odds that is a very much possibility?
It's very possible. Looking at their schedule going on, like they could run the table for sure. I mean, they beat Richards, and I think Richards of the games they have left before Lincoln Way East, I think Richards is the best team, better than all of the teams that they're going to play. You know what I mean? So I think they've played their hardest game up until the last week. So they got a bunch of time to get better. And we don't want to, we don't want to really jump the gun, but just based off of that performance they put off against Richards, we see that the talent is there. And this is how important coaching is. You know what I mean? Like, it's undeniable about coaching because Coach Murph comes over, changes the program. We went for the summer camp tour. It looks different. It feels different. And it is different. It's a result of changing a system. You know what I mean? That Sandburg wasn't good last year. We weren't talking about Sandburg. Now they're rising immediately. You know what I mean? They get a coaching change and immediately they're big wins. You know what I'm saying? So what better way to make a statement like we here now? So now more people going to be talking about Sandburg. We definitely going to be tuned in. You know what I'm saying? So shout out Coach Murph, man. Like, really, really a game changer having, a head coach like that within the program. Like, he was at Back of the Yards. He did it. He was at Eisenhower where we first met him, and we got on the podcast the first time we, had a team on with him. And now he's over at Sandburg.
He had a decent amount of young talent.
Yeah, he did. He did. So
Harris, Andre Lovett.
Yeah, bro. So shout out Coach Murph, man, for real. Like that. We love that. So I hope that they run the table and we will be at that Lincoln Way East game. And could they shock the world? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? But it's possible, man. It's possible.
This is what I will say. All right, going back to the summer camp tour. I'm going to say this because we went to 4 schools, right? We started off going to TF South. We did Morgan Park second, Sandburg third, ended it off with Simeon. Yep. And if we're comparing as far as like structure goes, I'm not going to go as far as say talent or whatever, but as far as structure and organization, that Sandburg undeniably had the best summer camp tour. And we were there for 2 days. So the first time we went was just to get a general, grasp of the summer camp. And then the second day we were following Vincent Smith, right? For his commitment day. And it was the same. It was like exactly the same. It was I said they obviously had full equipment, more equipment on the second time, but they had a classroom. They start off in the classroom before they actually go out to the field, bro. They start off in the weight room talking to the coach, but they go into the classroom first. You talk about it all the time, FA, how the cerebral aspect of the game is equally as important as the physical aspect of the game, the mental aspect of the game. And the one thing that I saw, and we went into, I think the only classroom, like when they were studying film, the only one we didn't go into was probably the skill players, so the quarterback and the receivers. But we went in there with the linemen, we went in there with the defense. They are breaking stuff down to the point where kids can easily grasp it and understand it. They're taking them to school. They're making football school to them.
Bro, this is how I knew that Coach Murph was different. This is how I knew Coach Murph was different. When we went to summer camp tour, we was in the weight room. He said, y'all all are going to have a test, and you need to know every person's name on the team. And then he was telling his assistant coaches that were like run the lower level, like, I think y'all should do the same thing. That lets me know that they're actually challenging them mentally and getting them to understand the game on a mental level, not just you out there playing football. No, you're building football players. You know what I'm saying? So that's the most important thing. I know that they're having heavy classroom sessions. I know that they're taking tests. They're proving that they understand what they're supposed to be doing, not just watch the film. This is what you should do. All right, go out there and do it. no, they're students of the game, and that's the most important thing. And I think I actually said it in the summer camp tour video in the parking lot when we was walking. I was saying that is the most important thing, is that people should spend less time on the track and the weight room doing all these things and more time in the classroom, because a lot of these athletes don't really understand the game of football. If we've been completely honest, if you was to quiz kids on football fundamentals and concepts, they would not know. You know what I'm saying? I know that for a fact because I was a coach. So before we get to all of this,
I would say this, and I want to go to that point. Yeah. You were a coach, but I also remember being a player and not understanding why I was watching film. Like, and you know what's crazy? It was broken down a decent amount to me by Coach Padge, and I still didn't really grasp it, but I was really smart in school, but I never even thought to bring the stuff that I was using in school over to football. Because it's the same thing. It's really just studying. That's all it really came down to, is studying and understanding what you are studying. But it also comes to that teacher who's telling you, this is what you need to pay attention to. This is the call on this. This is when they're doing this. This is why we have you in this zone. This is why
strategy.
Making sure. This is why you got to do your job. This is why you got to do your job over here, because if you don't do your job, then it messes up him doing his job. He has to help you out. Or whatever. It's like really breaking it down and understanding your role, your assignment, what that other team, when they line up in a certain formation, what they're going to do when they're going up the field, or like they could be pitching it off, or whatever the case may be. It's the structure of breaking down the concept of film. It's like what you call it. You said one thing, I can't remember what game you was watching, but it was a game that you were watching this past weekend, and you were like, I love watching this game because you can see the chess match being played. Like
it was a Mark Carmel and Archbishop. Yeah, you could see the chess game, and you could see the setup. So even like Mark, I don't want to get too much into detail, but I saw a Mark Carmel play, and the play ended in a loss. It wasn't a good play, but I saw the opening there, and I know that the person up top for Mark Carmel saw the same thing that I saw, and I said to myself, they're going to run that play again. So as an athlete, you may think like, we should never run that play again because it didn't work. But the whole time it did work, and we saw what they gave us based on this formation in this play. So we're going to do it again, maybe a quarter from now, a series from now, something from now, when we get them in that same formation, they make the same mistake, and we're going to hit them over the top because we know that this is how the defense is reacting. But you don't think about that as an athlete. You just think like, we don't need to run that shit again. Like, that shit didn't work. But it's okay. We will take that loss for the touchdown in the long run. So it's a whole strategy behind it, bro. Like, and I love that. I love ball, bro. Like, I love that part of it. So yeah, man, it just shows that if you have kids that understand the game, then it'll show, man. All that being fast, being strong, at least at the high school level, there are some elite guys. There are elite guys that it doesn't matter. But for the most part, it's going to come from understanding the game. That's how you're going to have a good team, because everybody's not going to have 4 or 5 star athletes. Like, it's just not going to happen. But I think you could kind of close that gap when you're getting the players to understand the game of football, truly understand like the fundamentals, like even to like personnel and gaps and techniques. And it's just things that I know that athletes don't know about that would help them if they did. Because I was thinking like, man, if I knew this stuff, I'd probably have a different outcome on some things. But yeah, it's just, bro, it's crazy.
Man, all I'm saying is I remember being a kid in high school.
Yeah.
And really not grasping that this is actually equally as important than the physical aspect of the game. Going back to Sandburg, though, as we mentioned, they were doing that a lot in their summer camp tour. And one thing I want to shout out to them as well is that their varsity won against Richards 27-7. All right. The sophomores also won 42-0. The freshmen also won 56-14. That was a
sweet.
That was a sweep. So and in the summer camp tour, they were all together.
Yep.
They weren't separated. They were all together. So even when you look at the beginning of the episode, when he say, coach whoever, I encourage you to do the sophomores the same way, starts from the top down, man. From that head coach of the varsity football team can really make a whole football program excel.
Yeah.
It's like the Sandburg Eagles they're off to a great start.
Definitely.
More work to be done.
Definitely.
Obviously, it's early in the season. We know this, guys. We know. But as far as what we saw, or what we're seeing from them and what we saw in the summertime, everything is seeming to align with what we saw.
Definitely.
So, and we already knew they had some big guys in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couple other games. or game that we want to talk about as an honorable mention. Bradley-Bourbonnais versus Crete-Monique. Bradley-Bourbonnais made a statement with a 41-6 win over Crete-Monique after last week's 42-0 opener. Who did they play last week?
TF North.
Whew.
Yes.
They beating them South Suburban teams for sure.
Yeah.
What do we think about Bradley-Bourbonnais? They are in 7A.
They are.
I think they were tied with Lincoln Way East at 10. Not Lincoln Way East, I'm sorry. Lincoln Way Central at 10. And I think they're football.
They are, and the thing is, they didn't get as much recognition as they should have last year, and I think just because of the area that they're in, it's just not a lot of coverage for them. But last year, I mean, 7A made it to the quarterfinals, lost to Lincoln Way Central, and actually that may be the game that we should show up to because they'll be playing them soon. I can't, if you could confirm what week it is, but I think maybe in the next 2 weeks or so they'll be playing Lincoln Way Central, so that'll be a rematch from last year's quarterfinal game. But yeah, they have some athletes over there, bro. Like Ellis Johnson, quarterback, threw for 164 yards, 3 TDs, had 1 rushing touchdown. Lizelle Edmond caught 2 touchdowns, and then the running backs really shared the load. Kyron Edmond, which is Lizelle's younger brother, had 14 carries for 57 yards. Isaac Allison had 11 carries for 52 yards. Clark Six had 7 carries for 28 yards and 1 touchdown. So it was an interesting performance, man. I mean, they 42 points, and Crete-Monique, who played Richards last week, they scored 41 points, and to be held to 0, they really held Darren to nothing. He only had 12 passing yards. Dorian had 1 catch for 1 yard. So they're calling the defense the bad boys defense, man. Like, and that's a good name for them because it seemed like they causing a lot of chaos. They had 3 fumbles forced, a scoop and score for a touchdown. Kalen Clemens, and so like, yeah, man, it's just it's definitely a team that we should be looking out for this season. Definitely putting up numbers like that in the first two games. I mean, shoot, 80 points in 2 games is crazy. Like, so that's a high power offense. So I'm definitely, and this is the way that you snatch respect. You know what I mean? Like,
I was just about to say the
go
same
ahead.
thing.
I'm gonna let you go. Yeah,
I was just about to say the same thing. That is the way you do it, though, because here's our thing, right? I don't think people understand that we like to be proven wrong, right? Well, I think they do actually understand. They probably do understand. We like to be proven wrong, but the way we like to be proven wrong is on the football field. We don't like to be proven wrong when you talk about it before you performed. If you're talking about it and say, oh, we should be ranked higher or we should be this and that, and you haven't performed on the field yet, get out of here. But if you perform on the field and then you bring up the receipts of who we were talking about, and who we should have been talking about, that's what we love a lot, because what you're doing is not only you're doing the work on the field first, but you're giving us a direction to look. Like, this ain't the team you should be paying attention to. It should be us.
For sure.
And this is why it should be us. 40, what they just beat Crete-Monique 41-6?
Yeah.
And we were speaking highly about Crete's offense last week. We were speaking highly about Crete's offense in the summertime. And their offense didn't perform last week because of Bradley-Bourbonnais' defense.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's the best way to pull your respect or earn your respect, is to perform. Talking doesn't go nowhere. You talk with your pads on the field, and that's exactly what they did. And that's why I love, to the point that we're like, all right, you got our attention.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that's the thing with us. Like, we really don't care. Like, y'all can send us what you want. We just look at it and just keep on. Like, it don't make a difference. You can't talk your way into coverage. And that's one thing that we said at the beginning of the season, like, earn your coverage. If you're doing the right things, we gonna get up with you. It may not be this week, next week. It may not be before state, but at some point we gonna get up with you if you're making enough noise. So, stop DMing us saying, hey, can y'all come out to our game? No, make us want to come to the game. Don't ask us, make us want to come. Like, what they doing over there? So yeah, Bradley, man, y'all keep balling, and we definitely gonna make it out to a game. But defensively, I mean, only giving up 6 points in 2 weeks, that's a lot. And so yeah, I'm interested to see them play Lincoln Way Central. We definitely got to pull up for that one. But they're looking to build off of a season they had last year. I mean, 7A get to the quarterfinals. You return a lot of guys. I mean, we talked about, well, you said Brother Rice, you know, in the lead for 7A that you think could make that run. You got St. Rita, you got Downers Grove, and I think Bradley should be in that discussion as well. You know,
let's talk about 7A real quick. All right. So, because I got the rankings up right now, the Associated Press rankings up.
Okay.
As of right now, from Thursday, right? This is not accounting for the games that was just played over the weekend. All right. So this is still accounting for last week. Like, so this hasn't really, the rankings haven't changed since Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm saying it's not updated. It's just not updated for,
it's not updated,
this.
Yeah. So right now, we're at number 1, we have Downers Grove North sitting at number 1. You already know how we feel about Downers Grove North. All right. But right now, they're starting off 2-0. They just beat Downers Grove South 55-14, and they just beat Morgan Park last week 11-8. Right? But then we have Brother Rice sitting at number 2. I already said it. I think Brother Rice is my favorite to win 7A. For one, they played Marist, won 35-0. They played Valparaiso the week before, blew them out as well. And they're going to be playing St. Rita next week, and that's going to really put my theory to the test if they're one of the top teams in 7A. But right after Brother Rice, at number 3, we have St. Rita. St. Rita just took a massive L to Mount Carmel, 35-14.
But right? It is Mount Carmel, though. It is Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel. But they did play Marist last week, and they close one, and Brother Rice just blew out Marist.
Yeah.
All right? And St. Rita's at number 3. So then we go down to number 4, Batavia. Batavia just lost to Glenbard West last week, but then they bounced back this week with a 35-3 statement win against South Elgin, right? Batavia, I like where they're placed. I still think Batavia is one of the favorite to win 7A because after seeing Glenbard West play, understanding that Glenbard West is for real, and Batavia lost a close one to Glenbard West, but they're in completely 2 different classes.
Yep.
Glenbard West is in 8A, Batavia is in 7A.
Yep.
Right? So then we go down, St. Charles North. I can't really speak too much about St. Charles North because we haven't really paid attention to them a lot this year, but they did just beat Homewood Flossmoor 35-16. Okay? Then we got Normal Community. Now, this is the part that I like to get to because now we're talking about the Southern Illinois teams or centralized Illinois, whatever you want to call it, right? The ones lower, further south than Northern Illinois. Okay.
Yep.
Normal Community just beat Normal West 35-22. Right? They're sitting at number 6. Then we have Richards. They just took a massive L to Sandburg. So now I don't even think they'll probably be ranked after that.
Right.
All right. So then we have Hersey. You know, they just beat Barrington 20. They actually just lost to Barrington 21-35. Then we have Lincoln Way West sitting at number 9. And then tied at 10, we have Lincoln Way Central and Bradley-Bourbonnais.
Ooh.
Lincoln Way Central is 2-0. They just beat Providence 26-14. Bradley-Bourbonnais is 2-0. They just beat Crete 41-6, and they just beat TF North 42-0. They will face each other in week 6. Okay? There's a lot. 7A, as far as like who is ranked in there right now, it's an opportunity for anybody to win that.
I think so. I think so.
And I feel like I'm not exaggerating saying that. Like if we're looking at this Associated Press ranking for Class 7A, there is a lot of opportunity there. That's the reason why I say Brother Rice is my favorite, but Bradley-Bourbonnais has a good chance. Lincoln Way Central has a good chance. Normal Community, Batavia have a good chance of winning. I would still even throw St. Rita in there. So it's like 7A, I don't want to say it's wide open, but it's so much room for opportunity.
I think it's wide open. It's pretty wide open when you got 4, 5, 6 teams that could possibly win it. You know, it's not a clear cut front or 2 runners in it. Is 5 or 6 teams. So we'll have a better understanding of St. Rita though after next week. Like we'll 100%. See when they play Brother Rice, we'll have a better understanding. But I don't know, man. I think St. Rita's good, bro. I like St. Rita. I watched them play Mount Carmel, and going from playing Mount Carmel to Brother Rice, I think they'll be really prepared to play Brother Rice after playing Mount Carmel. So, man, I got some stock invested in St. Rita, to be honest, and we'll see how it plays out next week. But I like St. Rita though. I like St. Rita.
Yeah, definitely. But I like 7A. 7A is gonna be the conference that paying attention to the most because not the conference, the class. Paying attention to the most just because it's a little bit more who's going to win it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like the other classes, I'm sorry, not conferences, classes, I think we can probably predict.
A little more. It's more clear cut than the other ones. Like at least we have an expectation for the other ones. For 7A is no expectations. We don't know. So that's what makes it exciting is that we don't know. You know, it could be chaos. It could be pandemonium, and next week St. Rita could be Brother Rice, and you know, just everybody could lose and win, and you know, it could just be all over the place. So I'm interested to see that.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to Bradley, definitely want to get out to a Bradley game. They're playing Waubonsie Valley next week. But then, as I mentioned, they play Lincoln Way Central Week 6 on October 3rd. That could be a good game to get out to. They play at Lincoln Way Central. But Bradley is looking to have a good season. So, definitely on our radar. Way to earn the coverage for sure. Like I said, we love being proved wrong. And football is back in full swing, man.
Yeah.
Next week is going to be a bunch of decent amount of games. I know we have Loyola Academy versus St. Francis. Then we also have Mount Carmel versus Nazareth Academy, as I mentioned earlier. Marist will be playing Montini Catholic, so that'll be a good test to Marist to see how they face up against a state championship contending team. Joliet Catholic will be playing Fenwick, so Joliet Catholic started off 0-2, but watching them play, they do have a pretty good squad, and they could still potentially make a good run. And then we mentioned earlier, Brother Rice will be playing St. Rita, which is my favorite game of the week next week.
Yeah.
Because it's going to prove my theory right that Brother Rice is probably the favorite to win 7A. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing I want to talk about, some top performers of games that we didn't necessarily speak about. Kenyante Lewis threw for 230 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 75 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns, and they won 27-7 over St. Viator. Kenyante Lewis is going crazy for Kenwood Academy.
Man,
What are you doing with that kid?
Man, he the real deal. But we already knew that. I mean, he was one of the CCL players of the year when he was at De La Salle, and he's just bringing that same skill, that same type of player over to Kenwood, and it's being displayed. And we were getting comments saying he's the best, CPL quarterback, and he's proven it. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely proven that.
This is one of those moments. If we was to give an opinion on this, and say we was just to flat out say he is the best after 2 weeks, he is the best CPL quarterback right now. He's in a situation of somebody has to prove us wrong or prove him wrong, right?
Yeah,
they have to come with it. You know what I mean? And for the first 2 weeks, like I said, he hasn't. Last week was his first time playing in over a year and a half, and he's 2 games back, and he's been performing.
Yeah.
You can't. It's one of those things that what we say, the eye in the sky does not lie.
Never. It never
Numbers
does.
don't lie either.
No,
you know what I mean. So he's performing, bro. And Kenwood is also one of those teams that they I can't remember who made the comment, but it was like, we finished this week.
Yeah.
Hey man, they finished this week and they had a great victory and they balling, bro. Kenwood. Way too early to say, but Kenwood is. I think they're gonna be one of the best teams in the CPL. They are one of the best teams in the CPL already, but I think they could potentially run it this year.
Maybe. Could potentially. I mean, but 2 back-to-back games against Catholic schools and held their own. Dominated one and held their own against another. And I mean, they're showing those signs. And we've said it. We've already said that they have the talent to compete with anybody. They have the talent, but it's just about finishing. So if they continue to finish, they're gonna be a problem for a lot of people. That's just what it is. So, and we love to see it because contrary to last year, people were upset that we weren't covering Kenwood and we weren't showing them the love. And we were saying, what is there to show love to? Like, that's just what this is all about. It's not about, popularity. It's not about just doing it just because. Like, we have a job to do, and our job is to cover the people who need to be covered, who we feel should be covered. So give us a reason. And right now, Kenwood is giving us a reason. You know what I mean? So there's no biases in this. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? We just want to cover the teams who are playing well and the players who are playing well. So when you play well, we talk about it. You don't play well, we don't talk about it. So.
And the best way that players and teams should do their talking It's on the field. Says something to us that's not. It does nothing.
Yep.
When you perform on the field and then you pull up the receipts.
Yep. We
That
can't
brings
argue
us
with
out.
it. We not those type of guys. You know what I mean? It's about being objective. You know what I mean? We're objective. Yeah. So yeah, we don't have no preferences. We don't have no biases. If you prove us wrong, we'll admit it happily. You know what I'm saying? Like, we respect it. Take your respect. So and that's what Kenwood is doing this year. They snatching their respect, and I love to see it. And I want to see when it's time. And everybody know what I mean by when it's time. We gonna see how it play out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a team out there that you need to beat, and I think that this year is the year to do that.
Yep, definitely exciting stuff happening in the CPL. Another top performer of the week that we wanted to discuss is a kid from Bolingbrook, running back TJ Lewis, had 4 touchdowns and over 200 rushing yards in a 44-22 win over Simeon. Bolingbrook, running back. What you think about this?
Crazy. Big time performance and big time win for Bolingbrook as well. You know, it was a game that I got a few glimpses of, and man, it opened up kind of crazy because I was watching it online, and it was like 2 back-to-back kick returns. And I was like, bro, this game is about to be crazy. But I think one of them may have got called back. I'm not sure. But yeah, Bolingbrook, one of those teams looking to kind of get back to a point of where they were in contention. So yeah, I mean, it was a great game. Simeon obviously getting battle tested there, and they'll be going into conference play in the CPL. So yeah, man, that's it, man. Crazy performance, 4 TDs, 200 yards. Definitely want to keep a lookout for TJ Lewis this year.
Yeah, so Bolingbrook lost last week to Homewood Flossmoor 44-30. Yep. They were able to bounce back this week with a pretty good win against Simeon. So yeah, you know, wishing them a great season. Always wishing every team a great season. But next top performer of the week that we wanted to discuss was Jamison Purcell, an Indiana commit. He went for 243 yards and 3 TDs in a 42-14 win over Warren. Warren.
Yep.
When we were doing our rankings last week, we didn't include Warren in our rankings, right?
No. No, we didn't.
Yeah, I think Warren right now, let me look this up real quick. I think Warren is currently sitting at 4 in the top 10 for the Associated Press's Class 8A polls, and they just lost to Maine South. So Maine South is still a pretty good team.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you lost to Lincoln Way. I mean, it's Lincoln Way.
Yeah, you mentioned actually to me after you rewatched the Lincoln Way East versus Maine South game, you mentioned something on the lines of that the footage doesn't tell the whole story.
Well, I'm saying the score
doesn't tell the whole story. The footage does.
Yep, definitely. So, and that's the beautiful thing about film. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the score is one thing, but you can look at the film and just be able to dissect and say, "Oh, this team isn't bad. It was just this that was messing them up, or doing that." It's just a different way of approaching the game, I would say. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into these things, but yeah, just a different approach to the game. And you can see the talent, you can see their ability. So when I watch the game, I'm like, yeah, this Maine South team, it don't suck. They didn't 40-0. You'd be like, man, Maine South is trash. No, they're not trash. I'm telling you, they're not trash. They're going to beat a lot of teams. It was just that Lincoln Way game. There was some things that I'm sure that they wanted to have done differently as far as game planning goes. I'll just say it that way. So, but yeah, definitely a phenomenal team. Definitely.
Okay. And definitely a big win over Warren. I reckon Warren probably won't be in the top 10 next week. Or maybe they might just go down a lot.
Yeah.
Who knows? In 8A. But definitely a good bounce back win for Maine South. Now, as you know, we cover a lot of kids in the state of Illinois for high school football, basketball, and, you know, many other sports. And, you know, as kids play in high school, they do graduate and they go on to play at the next level. And what we want to talk about right now is quite a few kids that we covered last year that are playing at the next level. There's a few definitely people that got like first touchdowns, first career college touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know, some good defensive plays and things like that. So one kid we want to talk about, Talon White. Played at Lincoln Way East last year.
Yep.
He's currently at Indiana State. Got his first college reception at Indiana State.
Yep.
That kid was a dog last year. If you want to look at who we're talking about, look at our Lincoln Way East versus Loyola Academy game. The first touchdown from that kid.
Yep.
Statement touchdown to start that game. But currently at Indiana State.
I believe that was against Eastern Illinois as well, that game. But then we got Miles Mitchell, somebody that we talked a lot about last year for Richards. And hey, true freshman, they were up big. He got in, he was able to get a rushing touchdown. And I mean, it's very early for him in his career. So yeah, North Dakota State, which he'll probably be winning the national championship soon, because they're one of the most dominant FCS programs in the country. So I'm sure he'll be touching the national championship definitely within the next 3 to 4 years of his career there. So shout out Miles, still picked up where he left off.
Shout out Miles Mitchell. That was like I said last week, we could have argued that he was Richard obviously he was a big percentage of their offense. You can't deny that, right? Because we were there for a lot of their games. But seeing him do it at the next level is also a great thing to see. You know what I mean? I love that he's from the South Suburban Conference.
Exactly.
Y'all didn't know already that's our favorite conference, because that's what we played in when we were in high school. Yeah. One of the kids I want to talk about is actually one of the kids that we had on the podcast in our early episodes. Is Austin Alexander at Kansas. Got his first college TD fumble recovery. Yep. So shout out Austin Alexander. He played at Marion Catholic. Yep. Great DB. And definitely he's one of the first people on the off-season podcast early on. I may have to put a clip in.
Yeah. And then
the highlight.
It's great seeing him back on the field as well, because I think around that time he had just suffered an injury, so he was just trying to recover and get back. And it's great seeing him back on the field doing what he do. So yeah, shout out Austin. Next one I want to talk about, though, that's right now I don't think we were able to cover. We wasn't covering as much then, but Chris Durr Jr. from Morgan Park, the receiver at Wyoming right now, man, he is going crazy, bro. Like, he is going absolutely crazy. They released reception leaders for the NCAA, and I believe he was in the top 10. Obviously, he's played this weekend. I saw a crazy highlight touchdown from him, so I'm sure it's probably going to fluctuate depending on other performances, but still being recognized as one of the top receivers in the country at Wyoming. And then also Lewis Bond as well was on that list. So Lewis played for Kenwood, obviously way before the time we was covering, but he also was on that list of reception yard leaders in the country. So 2 CPL guys, 2 CPL receivers out there dominating in the country. So that's big time, man. So that was great to see. Parker Starks from Mount Carmel, the linebacker. We got to see him. He had a big time special teams tackle over there. He's at Charlotte right now. So it's just been a lot of guys doing some special things. You know what I mean? So we just love to see it. But yeah, on to some more guys. One interesting person I want to talk about is Carnell Tate, is the receiver from Ohio State. So we could claim him, but we kind of can't claim him because he was at Marist for his first 2 years, and then he transferred to IMG Academy.
The JJ McCarthy effect.
Yeah, JJ, which he was at NAS, won the state championship, then won the national championship with IMG. But yeah, so we still kind of claim him. But yeah, Ohio State, and then they played Grambling. They played Grambling, and they beat them 70-0, like 70-something to 0, bro. I'm like, oh my God, like Grambling, that's crazy. And then talking about Grambling. Another guy is Michael Gardner, defensive end from Bloom. So he actually was at Grambling State last year, and he transferred to Wisconsin. And he got a tackle for loss yesterday that I saw late in the game. They were up big as well. So yeah, he did well. And then the last person is Josh Franklin. So Josh Franklin plays for Western Michigan University, and he was on a post that was saying this celebration is taking over college football, and he went to Crete and he got a nice sack. So yeah, man, shout out to those guys, all the guys that we mentioned, and anybody that we didn't mention, we obviously probably just didn't see it or we just don't know about it. So send in film as well, college guys, if you're from the area, if you're from Illinois, and yeah, send it to us after every week so we can, shout y'all out on a podcast, because there's a lot of athletes who are playing at the collegiate level now that's really balling and doing their thing. So we want to highlight you guys as well. But shout out all the guys that we saw making plays this past week for sure. We missed 2 guys. We gotta show love.
What 2 guys?
So John Nestor from Marist, and Matt Kingsbury from St. Rita both played for Minnesota, and they both had defensive touchdowns this past weekend. So that's big time. Like 2 guys, defensive side of the ball from the same state. That's big time. So shout out to them. Shout out John and Matt.
Yeah. Shout out to all our college guys, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a good thing. And I remember when we was doing this last year, what I say something about what we're doing is kind of residual.
Yeah.
So like we're covering kids, essentially superstars, where they are superstars, but they're not groomed into like the professional level yet, to the point that we're probably seeing a bunch of young talent that will eventually be playing professionally.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen a lot of kids, like obviously Jonas Williams. The Jonas Williams we know is going to play professionally. Quentin Burrell we know is going to play professionally. But seeing some of the guys that are already taking that next step in their journey where they're playing at the next level in college football, it's a great thing to see and a great thing to talk about when they're performing well at that next level as well, having seen them play in high school. Mm-hmm. So, but speaking of college talk, I think it's only right and important to talk about our Illinois Fighting Illini.
Man.
They are, for the first time in 24 years, they are ranked in the Associated Press's top 10, currently sitting at number 9. The last time they were ranked in the Associated Press's top 10 was 2001 when they finished number 7 after winning the Big Ten championship. Now, let's think about it like this, right? They were number 7 then. There was no college football playoffs then. Yep. There wasn't even a Final Four then, right? So only the top 2 teams. Now, they have the potential to be in the college football playoff, and they could definitely make some noise if they make it in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously early in the season, only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But starting off pretty well. They just beat Duke 45-19.
Yeah.
Outscoring them 31-6 in the second half and forcing 5 turnovers.
Yep.
5 turnovers. You know what I mean? So there's some good football being played by the Fighting Illini.
Yeah, they had a dominant performance last week against Western Illinois to come back and beat Duke. Luke Altmaier looking amazing, 296 yards, 3 touchdowns. Hank Beatty, career high, 128 yards receiving, a rushing touchdown. Their defense, obviously, as you just mentioned, forcing 5 turnovers. So, man, they're playing some great football, bro. But, I mean, the Big Ten ain't nothing to play with, though. The Big Ten ain't nothing to play with, bro. So you got USC you got to play. You got to play Ohio State. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of big games still out there. But, yeah, I want them to continue to do well for the state. And so hopefully it inspires these younger guys, these recruits that we may mention. We got Myson is home. We got Quentin Burrell is here. It's a lot of these, big-time recruits. Maybe we can get them at Illinois because obviously that's what we want to see. We want them to stay home. We want the athletes to stay home and keep on building U of I because obviously the goal is to get to a national championship. And I think you kind of do that if you can secure not only the best players in the country, but the best players from your state. Because we got some of the best players in the country. So imagine, I know we prayed that Nazir committed to U of I, which he did. But then we also wanted Mac and JC to commit, or at least one of them, at least one of them. But, obviously they didn't. They go into the SSC. JC is going to Ole Miss and Mac is going to Alabama. So, I mean, we didn't get them at U of I. But maybe this year we get some more guys going committed to U of I. Our top 3 get committed to U of I. You know what I'm saying? Like, that will be big time if the top 3 players in the state of 2027 class committed to U of I. So I would love to see U of I push really heavy for some of these guys because it's going to be super important to get some of the best players to stay home. So, hey, Quentin, man, you know what to do.
Hey, man, all I'm saying is, bro, like, depending on how they perform this year, it's a possibility.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I mean? They definitely been retaining some of the guys from the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Elzy from Simeon.
Yeah.
Andre Lovett from Blue Island. Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Your Rankings going there next year. He's at Morgan Park.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of South Side guys. So South Side of Chicago as well as South Suburban. So
yeah, we'll see.
Man, let's everybody stay home, please, bro. We'll be some dogs, bro. To fight Illini, man. So
yeah, man. So shout out
number 9 in the top 10 for the Associated Press. I mean, they playing great football. They was playing great football last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, the fact
Yeah, so
that they're
we'll
picking
see.
up from where they left last year, it's a good thing to see.
Yeah, they doing a lot. So they got, Indiana and USC this month, and then they play Ohio State in October. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I know they're playing Western Michigan next, and that should be another big game that they, perform well, and it should be a one-sided game for sure. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. So,
Yeah.
week 2 of the Illinois high school football season is wrapped. On to week 3. Bunch of teams start off 0-2. Still got some teams that's undefeated and a few other teams that split 1-1. It's a lot more work to be done. A lot more season left. Everybody continue balling. Continue those teams that have been proving us wrong. Continue balling.
Yeah.
Are
we gonna do predictions?
Oh, predictions for next week? You want
Yeah, we could, because I mean it's all Catholic League, you know what I mean, for the most part as far as the big games. So I think we could. Yeah, I think we could go through them real quick.
Okay, so next week's predictions, as we mentioned earlier, we had some matchups that we listed. Who do you have between Loyola Academy versus St. Francis?
Man,
I'll go first, and then I'll answer.
Man, give me Franny, man. They beat them last year. And I'm riding with my boy Brock Phillip. All right, I'm riding with Brock. They gonna get it done. I'm taking Franny because I don't know what Loyola is. You know what I mean? So
I don't either.
I don't know what they are yet. So we'll see what they are. They had a bye, obviously, so that's less information for us to go based on. But I'm going with Franny, bro. I'm going with Franny.
Yeah, only film we have on them is against the Maryville game. The Maryville game.
Yeah.
Maryville just lost to Crown Point. It's pretty lopsided defeat. I mean, we have seen film on St. Francis. It makes sense to say them. To be honest, I don't know because I just don't know what Loyola has. But if we're going based off the performance against Maryville, give me St. Francis as well, man.
Yep.
Next one is 2 undefeated teams. 2 actually reigning state champions as well. Nazareth Academy won 5A last year, and Mount Carmel won 7A. They will be facing off next week as well. Who do you have between Mount Carmel and Nazareth Academy?
Dude, we might as well just skip this one. We might as well just skip it, man. MC, really? Bro. MC. It's levels. It's levels to it. Naz is a great team. They are. But I just told you about Mount Carmel, and we all know what they're capable of doing. So Naz is 2-0 right now, as you mentioned earlier. But, man, it's Mount Carmel. And I'm not going to bet against Mount Carmel until they play Lincoln Way East in the state championship. That's going to be the one and only time this year that I say Mount Carmel is going to lose. But other than that, I got to take MC. I got to.
And Mount Carmel has had more, what do you want to call it? More impressive wins. Mount Carmel beat Archbishop Moeller last week, and they just beat St. Rita this week. Nazareth beat Kankakee 33-12 last week, and they just destroyed Morgan Park 33-6. So yeah, I don't even know. We got to dwell on this here. Mount Carmel is,
And it's all respect. Like, no, it's all respect. And it's MC, bro. Like, they've earned the right for us to feel like they're going to go into every game and win just because of how well they're playing, the talent that they have. So, I mean, prove us wrong. But if I have to bet my money on it, I'm taking MC all day until I see otherwise.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. Next matchup next week, we have Joliet Catholic. Marist playing Montini Catholic. Marist is currently 0-2. Just lost to Brother Rice 35-0. Montini Catholic, however, is 2-0. And they just beat Hillcrest 35-12.
Who'd they play week 1?
Let me look real quick. I have their schedule up. They played Lumen Christian Catholic. And I think that's a team based in Michigan. Let me check. This team is based in Michigan, yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to go Montini in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Montini, defending state champs. One of the best quarterbacks in the state, Israel Abrams, is still there. So, and he played amazing against Hillcrest. I saw some clips there. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Montini just because of, like I said, the guys that they brought back. They won a state championship. They're 2-0. They're looking good. Marist hasn't been looking the best. I do think Marist can win the game. I don't think it's just flat out Montini, but just going based off of the recent performances, I'm gonna go Montini as well. And that will be that's still gonna be a big game for Montini to play and win going against Marist.
Next week, Joliet Catholic will be playing Fenwick. Joliet Catholic, still like from what I saw from Joliet Catholic, but Fenwick did start off pretty hot 2-0. They beat Oak Park River Forest last week 35-0, and they did beat the reigning 4A state champions, the Paul College Prep, 40-14.
Yeah.
So they will be playing Joliet Catholic this week, and then they will actually be playing Montini Catholic the following week. So they got a couple good matchups. Who you got between Joliet Catholic and Fenwick?
I'm gonna say Joliet Catholic gets their first win against Fenwick next week.
Must win.
Must win. Yeah, must win. I think they get it done. It's at Fenwick too, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Joliet Catholic getting their first win of the season.
I will say Joliet Catholic has probably played tougher teams.
They definitely have. I mean,
and Fenwick, I don't know how good DePaul College Prep is going to be this year, honestly. And I don't know how good Oak Park River Forest is going to be. I'm going to have to assume not that good. So I would say Joliet Catholic as well, just because they've probably been more battle tested.
For sure. Playing Lions and then playing Glenbard West. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I think they've been more battle tested. So I definitely got Joliet Catholic. Now, my favorite game for next week, Brother Rice versus St. Rita. I'm going to go first. I'll say it again, and I'm going to look at the camera when I say this. Brother Rice is my favorite to win 7A. They're currently sitting at number 2 in the Associated Press's top 10. I don't know if I believe Downers Grove North is for real. And I saw Brother Rice just obliterate Marist. I think Brother Rice is my favorite to win this game against St. Rita, as St. Rita is currently sitting number 3 in 7A. I suspect that will change. Brother Rice all the way in this one. What do you think?
I'm going to go Rita. I'm going to say Rita.
Really?
Yes.
I'm going to say St. Rita.
I'm going to go St. Rita. I like St. Rita. Watched them play. Beat Marist. Play Mount Carmel. But it's Mount Carmel. Saw some good things that they did against Mount Carmel. Just didn't really capitalize the way that they wanted to. And they made some mistakes. But again, it's Mount Carmel. They go in there. They see what the best of the best looks like and adjust to it, and they come out and play Brother Rice, and playing Brother Rice won't feel like playing Mount Carmel. No disrespect to Brother Rice, but it won't. And maybe in some aspects of the game it will, but as a full total game, no, it won't feel the same way. So I feel that they're comfortable in playing the best team, and like, okay, this is what it feels like. We know we need to work on. We know what we need to do. I think St. Rita comes out with that victory over Brother Rice.
Hey, man. Who knows?
Who knows?
All right, but I think next week for sure, what I'm saying right now can either be, I wouldn't say proven, but it can add more to my my case, or it can completely dethrone it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I will say this though, that is my game of the week next week.
Yeah.
That is my favorite matchup of next week to see. So definitely got some next week predictions. Do we want to get into rankings or no? Or talk about or explain a little bit like our thought process on our rankings.
We could. I kind of did it briefly. Let me pull up the ranking actually, so I know what it is. I don't remember, but it really isn't gonna change much, to be completely honest, because everybody pretty much won. Let me look, because I was thinking we could do that, but maybe we could do it. I don't know, because we will need to release it tomorrow. So week 1, we have Mount Carmel at number 1. Obviously, they stayed there. They dominated St. Rita. We had East St. Louis at number 2. They didn't play, so it's nothing to go by there. So I would say that they stay there. Lincoln Way East 3, dominating performance. They stay there. Nazareth beat MP. Loyola at 5. They didn't play, nothing there. Brother Rice won big. Number 6, do they move up?
Hey, so this is why I will say I'm moving Brother Rice up to 5 because they did play. It's not Loyola's fault they didn't play, right?
Yeah.
But I'm moving Brother Rice up to 5 from 6 because I did see Brother Rice play, and they did dominate an Indiana team as well last week. Loyola had a close game against Maryville, and Maryville got destroyed by Crown Point. So I don't know if they got destroyed, but they lost to Crown Point.
It was a decent. I believe it was about at least 2 scores or more. So
okay, so I didn't mean to say destroyed, but they lost to Crown Point. I just think that Brother Rice, after seeing them play in person and seeing a little bit of the film for Loyola against Maryville, I think Brother Rice is the better team as of right now.
Yeah.
So I will put Brother Rice at 5. I will put Loyola at 6. St. Rita we have at 7.
I mean, lost to Mount Carmel, but it's Mount Carmel.
I think I wouldn't put them out of the top 10, but I'll definitely put them probably at 10.
Okay. Everybody, who did Lions play?
So let me look that up real quick. Lions played, but Lions had an impressive. They have a more impressive schedule, right? Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. So they played Warrenville South and won 31-28.
And their first game was just JC, right?
The first game was against Joliet Catholic. So, I mean,
Glenbard West beat JC. Batavia. Who did Batavia play?
Batavia just won as well.
Oh, South Elgin. South Elgin.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so
to me, St. Rita should go to number 10. Just because they did lose, but they did also play a very good Mount Carmel team. But they did lose. Lions won, so I think Lions stay at 7. Glenbard West goes up to 8, and Batavia goes to 9, and I think St. Rita falls to 10. So if we currently would rank it, it would be, for me, if I'm putting my opinion into it, I would have Mount Carmel, number 1, East St. Louis, number 2, although they didn't play, but it is East St. Louis, number 3, Lincoln Way East, number 4, Nazareth, number 5, Brother Rice, number 6, Loyola Academy, number 7, Lions, number 8, Glenbard West, number 9, Batavia, and then number 10, St. Rita. That would be my top 10 rankings.
Yeah, for sure. I still think St. Rita's a good team, man.
That's why I'm keeping them in the top 10.
Yeah. But the drop 3, I mean, I don't know. We'll discuss it a little bit more, but is Glenbard better than St. Rita? Is Batavia better than St. Rita? I don't know. If Mount Carmel plays, if Mount
Carmel what?
I was gonna say if Mount Carmel played Batavia or Glenbard West, what would that look like? It probably look the same.
Well, we did see Mount Carmel play Batavia already last year.
Yeah, and I think Batavia was a better team last year than they were this year. And some could argue the same thing about Mount Carmel. So
Mount Carmel 100% is a better team than they were last year.
Yeah, 100%. so
because they have a lot of returning players. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll talk more about it. Yeah, we'll talk more about the movers. But
what I'm saying right now is what actually came to fruition.
Yeah,
that's my top 10. Outside of that, we have been going for an hour and 20, so we could probably clip a decent amount of this down.
Yeah,
but we have been going for an hour and 20. Anything else you want to cover before we wrap this episode up?
Nah, man. Hey, we on to week 3. Yeah, on the week 3 on the conference play. So I know it's kind of like, kind of drop a little bit as far as the big time matchups. Like a lot of the better teams are going to be playing against some of, the weaker teams in the conferences. And, so that's why it's kind of a big Catholic League week for us. I think more so it's going to be focused through the Catholic League. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. Like I really am. So nothing else to talk about, man. Just keep balling, keep sending in highlights. Creators, y'all doing a great job. We seeing some amazing shoots out there, people collabing with us. So yeah, everybody just keep working, man. This season is going well, And one thing I'm gonna say that I love that's what's happening is that it seems like the games are starting to matter a little bit more in the sense of like off season and people interacting and engaging with us as far as the players go. And that's kind of like the goal that we want to have when we stirring up things. So we may say you're going to lose. We may say you're going to win, but at least they're showing emotion about it. They're showing that they care. Like they're going out there to play every game and it's meaningful because they know that we're going to talk about it or we're going to have something to say. So we want to keep that energy in the sport for this season. Like everybody every game matters. You know, you should want to dominate and win every game, not just because we gonna talk about it, but because it truly does matter. So we just want to bring that energy back and make every big game a big game, not just the big teams, but how Bradley played Crete, and that was meaningful and it meant a lot. And it's really just a week 2 game, but it felt like it was a Super Bowl in a sense. You know, after they won, they were sending us posts and they were sending us stories and tagging us, and like that's what it should feel like. And they still got a whole nother season to go. So I want to keep on creating that energy around these games because it's just great for the sport. It's great for the state as far as us being engaged with sports content. So yeah, I love it, man. Keep that competitive edge up. Keep that energy up. Make every game matter.
Yep. And like we said earlier in the episode, we love to be proven wrong.
Yep.
Except we like to be proven wrong in the right way.
Yep.
We don't like to talk off the field. We like to talk on the field.
Yep.
And the receipts being brought up later. Yep. So keep proving us wrong. Whatever predictions we made for next week, we want to be proven wrong. Do I think I'm going to be wrong about Brother Rice? No. But we'll see. We like to be proven wrong, and I hope we come back next week to get to have something to talk about, right? Regardless, we're going to have something to talk about. But keep balling. Keep playing. Do all that talking on the field. And yeah, we'll keep it moving forward. We'll be back again next week to recap week 3. And we'll continue recapping the season as the weeks go by, and we'll have some more bolder predictions and starting to really shape. I think after next week, you can really start to see how the season could potentially shape for a lot of teams, especially a lot of teams that are going into conference play now. So next week is definitely going to be a real exciting week with a lot of those teams playing in conference, and some of those teams, you know, hopefully getting their first win, or they could be going 0-3 and it's looking bad. So
yeah.
But this is the off-season podcast. I am one of your hosts, Trey Hall. Other host, FAOVA, is here. We'll be back next week. Tune in to all our socials. Keep following all our content, and we'll keep it moving from there. But off-season podcast, episode 35, I believe. And we're out.
Yep.